Saturn in Cancer. All right, in this video, I'm going to be discussing Saturn in Cancer, everything you need to know about this placement and how to master this placement. All right, I'm going to be covering how to master having Saturn in Cancer. All right, now before I begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button if you've liked my previous videos and you'd like to be notified of my future videos. All right, let's discuss Saturn in Cancer. All right. Now, when you have this placement, this is similar to having Saturn in the fourth house. So what this means is that if you were to study Saturn in the fourth house descriptions, it sounds a lot like you and that information resonates with you. So even if you have your Saturn in a different house, let's say you have your Saturn in the first house, that's fine. Saturn in the fourth house also applies to you, and it's very important for you to study Saturn in the fourth house as well, okay? Now, this person, in order to mature and become a true adult, they have to master what Cancer represents. Okay, see, Saturn is all about what you need to do to mature and become an adult. All right, that's what Saturn represents, is what you need to do to mature and become a true adult. So let's talk about Cancer energy, right? Now, so this person, they have to master having a family. They have to master all things involving domestic matters. They have to master family and home, and they have to master emotions and emotional security. So they have to master all of these matters, all matters involving having a family, domestic matters, family and home, emotions, and emotional security. Okay, so this is a very big theme in these people's lives, and it's very important for these people to master these things. Okay, you got to master everything that it takes to have a family. You got to master all things that are related to domestic issues and protecting and defending home. You have to master family and home, and you have to master emotions and your emotions, and you have to master achieving emotional security. So this is what has to be done in order to mature and become a true adult. Now, this person, when living out Saturn in Cancer in a healthy way, okay, so let's talk about when you're expressing Saturn in Cancer in a healthy way. You're family oriented and you're a nurturer. You're sensitive and sympathetic, and you take family serious. All right, so this is when you're operating at a high level as it relates to your Saturn in Cancer. You're family oriented, you're a great nurturer, you're sensitive, you're sympathetic, and you take family very seriously. Okay, so these are all very good things, and when it's your this is when you're expressing Saturn in Cancer in a positive, healthy way. Now, this person, when living out Saturn in Cancer in a negative way, okay, you're harsh and cold towards family. You're overly concerned with controlling your emotions and keeping them under tight rein. You're too needy, sensitive, and dependent on others. You're too attached to the past. And family and domestic matters are associated with hardships and limitations, okay? So this is when Saturn in Cancer is being expressed in a negative way. You're harsh and cold towards your family. You show no love towards your family. You're overly concerned with controlling your emotions. Because remember, being overly concerned with controlling your emotions, it inhibits the flow of love, and it inhibits the flow that you need to have with your family. You're too needy, sensitive, and dependent on others. Cancer is associated with being needy, sensitive, and dependent. So you definitely don't want to be like that. You're too attached to the past. And when you're living this out in a negative way, your family and all matters involving domestic issues are associated with hardships and limitations for you. All right. So this is when Saturn in Cancer is being expressed in a negative way. Now, there are fears and insecurities surrounding. See, Saturn is associated with your fears and insecurities. Okay, so there are fears and insecurities surrounding family, home, domestic matters, and the ability to achieve emotional security. Okay, so this is where your fears and insecurities are surrounding: is will I be a good parent? All things involving the emotions, like how do I handle my emotions? Okay, how do I become emotionally secure? So this is where the fears and insecurities are for you. So it's all about overcoming these fears and insecurities. Overcome your fears and insecurities that have to do with family, home, domestic matters, and the ability to achieve emotional security. Okay, you have to overcome these things. Now, the father is seen as Saturn is associated with the father and the view of your father. So when you have Saturn in Cancer, you see your father as a man that is very strict and tough on his family. You see him as a man that is controlled emotionally. A man that is somewhat of a dictator towards his family. A man that has mastered family and being a provider. So this is the view of the father. You basically see your father in a Cancer-like way, but you see him as a way where you connect it to Saturn. So you see him as a man that's strict and tough on family. He's controlled emotionally. He might be a dictator, but he may also be someone that masters family and masters being a provider. Okay, so this is the view of the father. And this can also work in a negative way too, where you may see your father as someone that's needy, dependent. He's too attached to the past. So this can manifest in many different ways. Celebrity example that also has Saturn in Cancer: Donald Trump and Angelina Jolie. Now, with Donald Trump, we absolutely see this. He's not the most loving and expressive man as it relates to his family, okay? I mean, that we pretty much know. We don't have to get into all the details of his life, but definitely his family is not like it's hunky dory, just wonderful expression of love. There's some limitations, like even his own wife has been accused that she doesn't even like him. Okay, so I mean, that pretty much tells you how that plays out with Donald Trump. And then with Angelina Jolie, how we see this with her is, from what I understand, she doesn't even speak to her father. Okay, so it makes sense because you see, when going back to my point, when I said that the father is seen as a man that is very strict and tough on his family, a man that is seen as somewhat of a dictator. So her view of her father, and why she probably doesn't speak to him, is she probably sees him as a dictator. She probably saw him as a man that was very cold towards his family, and that's why she doesn't like him. So there's many different reasons why, but just from the outside looking in, I see how that works. All right, so yeah, that's Saturn in Cancer. I hope you gained some value from this video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, share, comment down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you for taking the time out to watch my video, and take care.